The rain pounded against the roof of Lisa Carter's small cabin. Wind howled through the trees surrounding her home in the Oregon woods. Lisa sat at the kitchen table, looking over medical charts from the hospital where she worked as a nurse. Her 5-year-old daughter, Zoe, was asleep upstairs, clutching her favorite teddy bear named Snugglebug. Lisa rubbed her tired eyes. Since her husband died in military service 3 years ago, nights like these were the hardest. The cabin felt too big, too empty with just the two of them. A flash of lightning lit up the room, followed by a boom of thunder that shook the windows. Lisa jumped slightly, then laughed at herself. Another crash followed immediately, but this one was different. It wasn't thunder. It sounded like something massive had hit the ground in the forest behind their home. Lisa moved to the window and peered out into the darkness. A faint glow came from deep in the woods. Worry creased her forehead. Had a plane crashed? Was someone hurt? She grabbed her rain jacket, medical bag, and flashlight. After checking that Zoe was still sound asleep, Lisa stepped out into the storm. The rain soaked through her clothes within seconds as she made her way toward the strange light. The mud sucked at her boots as she pushed through the underbrush. The light grew brighter, and Lisa could see smoke rising despite the rain. She expected to find wreckage of a small airplane. What she found instead made her drop her flashlight. A metal object about the size of a school bus was half buried in the earth. It clearly wasn't a plane. The shape was all wrong, sleek and oval with no wings. Steam rose from the wet metal as rain hit its hot surface. "Hello," Lisa called, her voice nearly lost in the storm. "Is anyone hurt?" A section of the object slid open. Lisa stepped back, her heart pounding in her chest. A large figure stumbled out and collapsed onto the ground. Lisa raised her flashlight with shaking hands. The beam revealed something impossible. The figure was at least 8 feet tall with scaly, reddish skin. Its face had reptilian features with 4 eyes and a jaw full of sharp teeth. The creature wore what looked like armor made of some black material Lisa couldn't identify. Lisa's first instinct was to run. This wasn't human. This was something from another world. But then her medical training took over as she noticed the dark liquid pooling beneath the creature. It was injured and bleeding. "I must be crazy," Lisa muttered to herself as she cautiously approached. The creature's 4 eyes were closed. It was unconscious and breathing in ragged gasps. Lisa knelt beside it, opening her medical bag. The blood was a strange purple color, but a wound was a wound. She applied pressure bandages to stop the bleeding from several deep gashes across its chest and abdomen. She couldn't leave it here in the rain. The creature would die from blood loss or exposure. With tremendous effort, Lisa managed to tie a rope around the alien's upper body. She dragged it inch by inch toward her barn, her muscles screaming in protest. It took nearly an hour to get the creature into the barn. Lisa collapsed on a hay bale, soaking wet and exhausted. The alien lay on the barn floor, still unconscious. In the better light, Lisa could see its face clearly. Despite the frightening appearance, there was something almost noble about its features. "Mom, what's that?" Lisa spun around to see Zoe standing in the barn doorway, her eyes wide with wonder rather than fear. "Zoe, you should be in bed," Lisa said, quickly moving to block her daughter's view. But Zoe had already ducked past her mother. She stood just feet away from the alien, staring with open curiosity. "Is it a dinosaur or a dragon?" Zoe asked, excitement filling her voice. "No, honey. I don't know what it is," Lisa admitted. Zoe's face lit up with a smile. "Can we keep it? It's the coolest pet ever." Lisa looked from her daughter to the giant alien bleeding on their barn floor and realized her life had just become much more complicated. The alien's 4 eyes snapped open. For a moment, he lay still, trying to understand where he was. The last thing Commander Vrakthar remembered was his ship spinning out of control after Lieutenant Kraz had shot him and damaged the controls. Now he found himself in a primitive wooden structure, his wounds bandaged with strange white material. "Look, Mom, it's awake." Grakthar turned his head toward the high-pitched voice. A tiny human stood there, holding a bowl of some steaming liquid. Behind her was a taller human, clearly the mother, looking nervous but determined. In 12 star systems, the name Vrakthar was whispered with fear. His Dreskan battle fleet had conquered worlds far more advanced than this backward planet. He should take these humans hostage immediately. Yet when he tried to sit up, pain shot through his body. He was too weak to move. The betrayal by Kraz had left him near death. The small human came closer, seemingly unafraid. "I brought you soup," she said, holding out the bowl. "I'm Zoe. What's your name?" Vrakthar growled in his native language, a series of clicks and rumbles that made the mother step forward protectively. But the child only giggled. "You talk funny," Zoe said. She set the bowl down within his reach. "Can you eat soup? Mom says soup helps when you're sick." The mother approached cautiously. "I'm Lisa," she said slowly, pointing to herself. Then she pointed to her daughter, Zoe. Finally, she pointed at Vrakthar with a questioning look. Vrakthar understood. Names, introductions, basic communication. He considered his options. These humans had helped him rather than calling their authorities. Perhaps he could use them until he regained his strength. Vrakthar, he managed to say in their language, the words feeling strange in his mouth. He had studied Earth languages during mission preparation. "Commander Vrakthar." Lisa's eyes widened. "You can speak English." "Some," Vrakthar replied. "Learning." Zoe clapped her hands. "That's so cool. Are you from space? Do you have a spaceship? Can I see it?" "Zoe, give him space," Lisa said, pulling her daughter back slightly. To Vrakthar, she asked, "What happened to you? Why are you here?" Grakthar considered how much to reveal. Betrayed. Second in command attacked. Ship crashed. No need to mention he had been on a mission to scout Earth for conquest. "Wait here," Zoe said, as if the injured alien had a choice. She ran out and quickly returned with an armful of stuffed animals. "These are my friends. This is Bear. This is Flopsy. This is Captain Whiskers. And this." She held up a worn teddy bear missing one eye. "Is Snugglebug. He's my favorite." Grakthar stared at the child in confusion. On his world, younglings were trained as warriors from birth. They played with weapons, not soft toys with names. This small human should be terrified of him, not sharing her possessions. Lisa brought a notepad and began drawing simple pictures. She drew the barn, then their house nearby, then a crude map of the surrounding area. She was trying to establish where they were. Vrakthar growled again in his native tongue, a sound of frustration at his weakness. To his surprise, Zoe laughed again. "You sound just like Snugglebug when he's hungry," she said, making the teddy bear's arms move. "Snugglebug goes grrr when he wants cookies." For the first time in his long life as a conqueror, Vrakthar felt completely out of his depth. He had commanded fleets, destroyed resistance, and ruled systems with an iron grip. Now a tiny human was comparing him to a stuffed toy called Snugglebug. The child held the soup spoon toward him. "Can you feed yourself, or do you need help like when I was little?" Lisa stepped forward. "Zoe, I don't think." But to both their surprise, Vrakthar slowly reached for the spoon. Something about this strange situation made him curious. These humans were not acting as expected. They showed no proper fear, only concern. As he sipped the warm liquid, Vrakthar decided these humans might be more interesting than he first thought. He would study them while he recovered. Then he would decide their fate. A week passed since Vrakthar crashed on Earth. His wounds were healing faster than Lisa expected. She had moved him from the barn into their spare room when the rain got worse. Now she stood in the doorway, watching as the alien warlord examined a small device he had taken from his armor. "What is that?" Lisa asked. "Emergency beacon," Vrakthar replied. His English improved daily. "Need to repair. Call friendly ship." Lisa bit her lip. "If I help you contact your people, will you keep our secret?" The government would take you away if they knew you were here. They might even hurt you to study you. Vrakthar looked up, his four eyes blinking in sequence. Why care what happens to me? Lisa shrugged. It's what people do. We help each other. This confused Vrakthar. On his world, showing mercy was weakness. Yet this human had saved his life and was still helping him. He could not understand why. How long to fix beacon? Lisa asked. Many days. Need tools. Need parts. Lisa nodded. I'll see what I can find. But you'll need to stay hidden. If anyone sees you, understand, Vrakthar said. We'll stay inside. Later that day, a heavy box fell from the top shelf. As Lisa tried to reach it, before it could hit her, Vrakthar caught it with one hand. He had moved faster than any human could. Thanks, Lisa said, surprised. That could have hurt. Vrakthar placed the box on the table. Your roof leaks, he stated. I can fix. You don't have to. Want to help? Vrakthar interrupted. Not like being. What you say. Useless. The next morning, Lisa woke to find Vrakthar on the roof, working with tools he had found in the shed. By afternoon, the leak was fixed. He moved on to chopping firewood, splitting logs with his bare hands. Lisa watched him from the window. Why are you doing all this? Trade, he said simply. You help me, I help you. That evening, Zoe insisted Vrakthar join them for dinner at the table instead of eating alone in his room. The sight of the massive alien sitting at their small kitchen table, carefully using a fork that looked tiny in his clawed hands, made Lisa smile despite her worries. We always watch a movie on Friday nights, Zoe announced, climbing onto the couch. You have to watch with us, Vrakthar. It's a rule. Rule? He asked, looking to Lisa for explanation. Not a real rule, Lisa clarified. Just a family tradition. What is family? Vrakthar asked. Zoe looked at him with surprise. You know, people who love each other and live together and take care of each other. Don't you have a family? Vrakthar shook his head. Dreskin raise young in training camps. No, family. That's sad, Zoe said. She patted the spot next to her. You can share our family while you're here. As they watched the animated film Zoe had picked, Vrakthar struggled to understand the point of the story. Why did these drawn characters sing? Why did the small humans in the audience value such things? That night, a loud crack of thunder woke the house. Minutes later, Vrakthar's door creaked open. Zoe stood there, clutching Snugglebug, her eyes wide with fear. I had a nightmare, she whispered. Can I stay with you? Monsters are scared of bigger monsters. Vrakthar stared at the child. On his world, showing fear was forbidden. Yet this small human came to him. A real monster by her standards, seeking protection from imaginary ones. Not monster, he said awkwardly, but can stay. Zoe climbed onto the bed and curled up next to him, falling asleep almost instantly. Vrakthar remained perfectly still, looking down at the trusting child. In that moment, something shifted inside the hardened warlord. He had conquered 12 star systems, but he had never before felt needed in this way. It was a strange feeling, unsettling yet not unpleasant. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside the small human dwelling, Commander Vrakthar of the Dreskin Empire found himself standing guard over a sleeping child and her one-eyed teddy bear. Lisa noticed the strange lights in the night sky first. They moved in patterns no normal aircraft would follow. When she mentioned them to Vrakthar, his entire body tensed. Bad, he said simply. Very bad. Is it your people? Lisa asked. Are they looking for you? Vrakthar nodded. Lieutenant Kraz, the one who betrayed me. He will not stop hunting. The next day, Lisa came home from grocery shopping with worry on her face. People in town are talking about men in black suits asking questions. Government agents, they think. Vrakthar stood by the window, keeping his massive body away from direct view. If Kraz finds me here, You and Small One are in danger. Zoe, Lisa corrected. Her name is Zoe, not Small One. Zoe, Vrakthar repeated. He had grown fond of the child who showed no fear of him. Must protect Zoe. Lisa looked at the alien who had been living in her home for nearly 3 weeks now. We need to make you less obvious. You can't hide in the house forever. That evening, Lisa brought home large clothes from the thrift store. She found a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses that might hide Vrakthar's extra eyes. She taught him to hunch his shoulders to appear shorter and to wrap a scarf around the lower part of his face. Not perfect, she said, stepping back to examine him. But in the dark, from a distance, maybe you could pass for human. Why help me? Vrakthar asked. Risk yourself, risk Zoe. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Because it's the right thing to do. And because Zoe adores you. As if summoned by her name, Zoe burst into the room. You look funny, she laughed, pointing at Vrakthar's disguise, like a really big person playing dress-up. Lisa knelt down to her daughter's level. Honey, we need to be very careful now. Some bad people might be looking for Vrakthar. You can't tell anyone about him. Promise. Zoe nodded seriously. I promise. Is Vrakthar in trouble? Vrakthar knelt down too, his massive frame making the floor creak. Yes, he said honestly. In my world, I was a warrior. Oh, leader of armies. Zoe's eyes widened. Like a superhero. Vrakthar looked at Lisa uncertainly. Not exactly, Lisa said carefully. More like a soldier. On my world, Vrakthar continued, children train for battle from very young. No toys. No movies. No family dinners. That sounds sad, Zoe said. She reached out and patted his scaly hand. I like it better our way. Yes, Vrakthar said softly. Your way has good points. The next day, Lisa had to work a double shift at the hospital. She left Vrakthar in charge, with strict instructions to stay inside and keep the curtains closed. But when a group of deer wandered into the yard, Zoe wanted to show Vrakthar up close. They stepped outside, keeping to the shadows of the trees. They didn't notice the hunters until it was almost too late. Vrakthar heard them first. Men moving through the forest, talking in low voices. He pulled Zoe behind a large tree just as 2 men with rifles emerged into the clearing. I swear I saw something weird moving around here, one man said. Probably just a bear, the other replied. Zoe almost sneezed, but Vrakthar gently covered her mouth with his hand. They remained frozen until the men moved on. When they finally returned to the house, Lisa was there, her face white with fear and anger. Where were you? I came home early when Mrs. Peterson said she saw government vehicles heading this way. Sorry, Mom, Zoe said. We were looking at deer. Lisa rubbed her temples. It's not safe. They're looking everywhere. That night, Zoe colored a picture of Vrakthar. Underneath, she wrote in crayon, My friend Snugglebug. When she proudly showed it to Vrakthar, he tilted his head. What is this name? Snugglebug. That's your new name, Zoe declared. Like my teddy bear. Because you're big and scary on the outside, but nice on the inside. Vrakthar, feared conqueror of 12 star systems, looked at Lisa helplessly. Lisa couldn't help but laugh. I think it suits you, she said. And so, despite his protests, the name stuck. Late at night, Vrakthar worked on his emergency beacon in the basement. After a month of repairs using parts Lisa had brought him from a hardware store, it finally buzzed to life. The small screen glowed with alien symbols. It works. Lisa asked, bringing him a cup of coffee. He had grown fond of the bitter drink. Yes, Vrakthar said. Can send message now. He tapped the strange buttons, sending a coded signal that only friendly ships would recognize. Within minutes, the device beeped with a response. Vrakthar's 4 eyes widened as he read the message. What's wrong? Lisa asked, noticing his reaction. Vrakthar set down the device slowly. Bad news. Very bad. Druskin Empire has named me traitor. Put bounty on my head. A bounty. Like in old Western movies. Yes, dead or alive. Vrakthar's voice was grim. Worse news. They speed up plans for Earth. Plans. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. What plans? Vrakthar looked away. Invasion plans. My mission was to scout Earth, find weaknesses. Lisa stepped back, her face pale. You were planning to invade us this whole time. Was my mission, Vrakthar admitted. Before I know humans, before Zoe. Lisa paced the small basement, trying to process this new information. So your people are coming to take over Earth. When? Soon. Message says fleet approaching solar system now. And what will they do when they get here? Lisa demanded. Vrakthar's voice was flat. Conquer. Take resources. Humans become workers or... He didn't finish the sentence. Or what? Slaves? Dead? Lisa's voice rose. Upstairs, a small voice called out. Mom. Snugglebug. Where are you? They both froze as Zoe's footsteps moved toward the basement door. She appeared at the top of the stairs in her pajamas, clutching her teddy bear. Why are you yelling, Mom? She asked, rubbing her eyes. Nothing, honey. Go back to bed, Lisa said, trying to keep her voice steady. Is Snugglebug leaving? Zoe asked, looking between them. You sound mad. Vrakthar stood up, his massive frame casting a shadow in the dim basement light. Small one should not worry. Are you leaving our family? Zoe pressed, her lower lip trembling. Lisa and Vrakthar exchanged a look. The word family hung in the air between them. Come here, Zoe, Lisa said gently. When Zoe reached the bottom of the stairs, Lisa knelt beside her. Vrakthar was just telling me something important. His people might be coming here, and they might not be friendly like he is. Zoe looked up at Vrakthar. Are they mean? Like the bad guys in movies. Vrakthar struggled to find simple words. My people only know fighting, conquering. They think humans are weak because you care for each other. That's not weak, Zoe protested. That's being nice. Yes, Vrakthar said slowly. I learned this now. Caring for others is strength I did not understand before. The alien warlord looked at the emergency beacon, then back at Lisa and Zoe. He faced an impossible choice. Return to his people and try to clear his name, or warn the humans who had shown him kindness. What will you do? Lisa asked quietly. Vrakthar was silent for a long moment. In his culture, loyalty to the Empire was absolute. Betrayal meant death. But as he looked at the human child who had named him after a stuffed toy, who had shared her home and her trust with him, something shifted in his warrior's heart. Will not let them hurt you, he said finally. Or Earth. How can you stop them? Lisa asked. They have spaceships and weapons beyond what we can fight. Have information, Vrakthar said. Know their tactics, their weaknesses. He placed one clawed hand gently on Zoe's head. Will protect my family. Zoe beamed up at him and took his massive hand in her tiny one. See, Mom. Snugglebug's not leaving us. He's staying to fight the bad guys. Lisa looked at the unlikely pair, her small daughter, and the alien warlord she had somehow tamed, and realized their lives had changed forever. The sky turned an unnatural purple color as three dark shapes appeared above the forest. Lisa looked out the window and felt her heart skip. The ships were smaller than she had imagined, about the size of buses, but their strange angles and glowing lights were clearly not human technology. They're here, she whispered. Vrakthar stood behind her, his massive frame tense. Hunting party, led by Kraz. Not full invasion yet. What do we do? Lisa asked. You take Zoe, drive to town. Tell Pete. Pete was Lisa's neighbor, a retired sheriff who lived 2 miles down the road. She had carefully introduced him to Vrakthar the week before. After his initial shock, Pete had promised to help if trouble came. I'm not leaving you to face them alone, Lisa said. Must protect Zoe. Vrakthar insisted. No, came a small voice. Zoe stood in the doorway, her face unusually serious. We stay together. That's what families do. Before they could argue, the phone rang. It was Pete. Lisa, there are strange vehicles heading up your road. Military looking, but no markings. You got company coming. Thanks, Pete. Remember what we talked about. Lisa's voice was steady despite her fear. Already on it. My buddies and I will be there in 10 minutes. Just hold tight. Lisa hung up and turned to Vrakthar. Pete's bringing help. But those ships will be here before them. Vrakthar moved to the window again. His eyes narrowed as he spotted movement at the edge of the trees. Dreskan soldiers. 5 of them. He pointed to a taller figure. That one is Kraz. Lisa grabbed her shotgun from the cabinet. I'll hold them off as long as I can. No, Vrakthar said firmly. We'll surrender myself. Keep you safe. They'll kill you, Lisa said. Better than them hurting you or Zoe. The alien warlord walked to the front door, his decision made. But when he opened it, Lisa pushed past him, her shotgun raised. This is private property, she shouted at the approaching aliens. You're trespassing. The Dreskan soldiers paused, surprised by the small human female standing protectively in front of their target. Kraz stepped forward. Unlike Vrakthar, he wore full armor, and his voice translator made his words sound metallic. Stand aside, human. We only want the traitor. He's not a traitor, Lisa called back. He's family. The alien soldiers looked at each other in confusion. Kraz laughed, a harsh sound through his translator. Commander Vrakthar has brainwashed you. He is a warlord who has conquered dozens of worlds. He kills without mercy. Not anymore, Lisa said. People can change. Vrakthar moved beside her. Kraz, he growled. This ends between us. Leave humans out of it. Too late for that, Kraz replied. He raised his weapon. The invasion begins with this territory. Suddenly, the sound of engines filled the air. 3 pickup trucks roared up the driveway, skidding to a stop. Pete jumped out of the first one, rifle in hand. With him were 7 men and women, a mix of veterans, hunters, and local police officers. What in tarnation are those things? Pete shouted, seeing the aliens clearly for the first time in daylight. The unfriendly kind, Lisa called back. They want to take over Earth, starting with our town. Pete spat on the ground. Well, they picked the wrong town. The Dreskan soldiers charged forward. Kraz fired his energy weapon, hitting one of the trucks. The humans scattered, taking cover and returning fire with their own weapons. Vrakthar pushed Lisa back toward the house. Get Zoe. Hide in basement. But you. We'll fight with humans, Vrakthar said. He picked up a heavy log from the woodpile, wielding it like a club. Know their tactics. Know their weaknesses. As Lisa ran inside, Vrakthar charged toward Kraz, roaring in his native language. The sound echoed through the forest, primal and fierce. This was not the roar of a warlord, but of a protector defending his home. The battle for Earth had begun in Lisa Carter's front yard, with an unlikely alliance between rural Americans and the alien they knew only as Snugglebug. 3 months after the battle at Lisa's home, Vrakthar sat at a computer in a special room built onto the back of the Carter house. The room had extra high ceilings and furniture scaled to his size. On the wall hung a child's drawing of him with Snugglebug written in crayon. The battle had ended with victory for the unlikely defenders. Vrakthar had defeated Kraz in hand-to-hand combat, while Pete and his friends had managed to capture 2 Dreskan soldiers. The 3rd ship escaped, but not before Vrakthar damaged its communication system. Now he worked at the computer connected to the captured Dreskan ship. His clawed fingers moved quickly over the modified keyboard as he sent another false report to the Empire. Earth protected by advanced defense systems, he typed in his native language. Planet has hidden technology. Conquest would require entire fleet, not worth resources. Lisa entered with a cup of coffee, setting it beside him. Will they believe it? Yes, Vrakthar said. Have sent many reports, each with small true details, surrounded by big lies. Makes seem real. Lisa sat in the chair beside him, which looked tiny compared to his massive seat. The government people are coming again today. After the battle, keeping things secret became impossible. The local sheriff had called state authorities, who called federal agents. But instead of taking Vrakthar away for study, something unexpected happened. Pete, who had served in the military for 30 years, had powerful friends. He convinced them that Vrakthar was more valuable as an ally than a research subject. A knock at the door interrupted their conversation. Lisa opened it to find Agent Kelly and her team. They had been working with Vrakthar to prepare Earth for possible future contact with alien species. Commander, Agent Kelly greeted Vrakthar with respect. How are the defensive strategies coming along? Good, Vrakthar replied. Teaching your soldiers Dreskan tactics. They learn quick. The front door burst open, and Zoe ran in, just home from school. Snugglebug, look what I made. She held up a paper with a gold star on it. I got an A on my family project. The agent smiled as the feared alien warlord carefully took the small paper, examining it with his 4 eyes. The project showed drawings of Lisa, Zoe, and a large purple figure labeled My Alien Dad Snugglebug. Very good, small one, Vrakthar said proudly. Put on wall with others. Zoe nodded and ran to pin it on the corkboard that was already covered with her artwork. Agent Kelly waited until she left the room before speaking again. We've detected another ship entering the solar system, she said quietly. But this one's different from the others. Vrakthar checked his computer. Is Dreskan, but old model. Scout ship. He studied the signal pattern. Is Vorkel's ship. Who is Vorkel? Lisa asked. Old friend. Teacher from youth. He questioned Empire ways. Vrakthar's face showed something like hope. He comes alone. Not threat. Over the next year, more ships arrived. Not invaders, but refugees. Dreskan, who had heard rumors of a commander who had found a different way of life. Vrakthar greeted each one, offering them the same chance he had been given. A small community formed in the mountains, well away from major cities. Humans and Dreskan working together, learning from each other. The government built a special school where Zoe and other human children played alongside the first Dreskan younglings to know peace. On career day at Zoe's school, Vrakthar wore his best attempt at human clothing and a baseball cap to shade his eyes. His name tag read Mr. Snugglebug, at Zoe's insistence. As he ducked through the classroom door, the children greeted him with excitement rather than fear. This is my dad, Zoe announced proudly to her class. He's from space, and he used to be a warlord, but now he protects Earth and makes the best pancakes. Vrakthar, once feared across 12 star systems, now stood awkwardly before 20 small humans, ready to explain his job as Earth's first alien defense consultant. In his long life of conquest, he had never faced a challenge quite like this. But as Zoe beamed up at him, he knew he had found something worth protecting in the most unlikely place, a human family that had taken in a monster and called him Snugglebug.